Alrighty, Terry, you've got a 450. Is that a Roger?
Alrighty, Terry, you've got a 450. Is that a Roger?
USL 450, Jim.
Alrighty, first thing is set that in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth, Roger. That's what we're given the best performance for the transmitter is 100 to 2900 on the newer radios. Some of the older radios are fixed bandwidths. Is that a newer radio or an older radio?
Fixed bandwidths, is that a newer radio or an older radio?
Early 1990s, it's fixed. It's at 2.4 kilohertz, over.
Yes, sir, 2.4, Roger. Well, let's start with the setup. Starts with the compression on at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, Roger, depending on how your compressor is labeled.
Out of 10 or 30 out of 100, Roger, depending on how your compressor is labeled.
Well, that would be nice, but this is a fixed compressor. It's either on or off.
Is that right? Okay, turn it off, because what we're looking for the compressor is so slight that I'm sure their idea of compression is much larger and grandiose than mine. So just turn her off and we'll sally forth, Roger.
So we just turn her off and we'll sally forth, Roger.
Yeah, it's off now, Jim, over.
Yes, sir. Okay, go to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, set your ALC level at 2/3 by way of mic gain control.
ALC level at 2/3 by way of mic gain control.
Roger that. Audio. Oh, that's should be right about there. At least it's just slightly above the ALC orange bar, over.
Yes, sir. We want to stay out of the red. My mama said, always stay out of the red. So, yeah, we just want 2/3. That's all we need. And it looks like you've got that. I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter, and I can tell by the way that meter moves is just how compressed that audio is. And you're right at 3 dB, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now, on equalization, does that radio have EQ capability?
Does that radio have EQ capability?
No, I'm afraid not. Basically, the TS450 is the first evolution of the TS440, so it has limited functions, but still is performing very, very well. I can tell right now that it is much better than the TS440. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Okay, I would suggest we do an acoustic equalization. Pull back off mic 2 inches. Pull back off mic 2 inches, and let me hear you.
2 inches. Pull back off mic 2 inches, and let me hear you.
Okay, we are definitely there. Let me turn the mic gain down just 2/3. Let's see. I think that's about right, Jim, over.
Roger, to take all of the question out of it, using that word audio, the first part of that word audio is so precise and clean. It generates so many harmonics that it's just a beautiful word for a human to electronic audio setup. Roger?
Human to electronic audio setup. Roger?
Oh, yeah, Jim, I got it. Okay. Audio. Over.
Yes, sir, and it makes it so easy to just set that ALC right on 2/3, which is what you have. And so now the question was, you backed off mic about 2 inches. Is that a Roger?
Now the question was, you backed off mic about 2 inches. Is that a Roger?
That is confirmed. Over.
All right, and you've reset your ALC level now to make allowances for that backup of the 2 inches as far as volume concerned, Roger?
The 2 inches as far as volume concerned, Roger?
Yes, sir, we did. Jim, over.
All right, sir, and now, Terry, I want you to give me about 10 or 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, Roger.
I want you to give me about 10 or 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, Roger.
Oh, sure. Well, it's pretty simple. It's a 170-foot end-fed wire. I point about 50-55 feet. And let's see, it runs north-south. I do have another one. I use a couple hundred feet of insulated wire as counterpoise around the house. And 3 ground wires. Back to you there, Jim.
Roger, Roger, Terry. I got the last part of that on my local receiver, which is good from 100 to 2900, and as opposed to some of these SDRs that do tend to roll off on the bottom end. So I think you have a very wide scope of audio information in your modulation index. So I think you need that 2 inches back off mic. Since you don't have any actual electronic equalization, we'll just have to use audio equalization, and we have the thing about trying to back off that bottom end. The thing called proximity effect, which says that the closer you get to a microphone, the more bass buildup there is. So when you pulled off about 2 inches, that kind of helped the balance between the top and the bottom. Roger?
Oh, I never knew that, Jim. Okay, I get it. Very good, very good. Well, once again, you've been a great help and a good resource. I hope you get your instrument working correctly. Maybe the Armstrong method. Bump it with your fist. To you, Jim.
Yes, sir, Terry. I think the answer is always a bigger sledgehammer. If you can just get that 20-pound sledgehammer, it'll usually solve all of the ills. Roger?
Indeed, indeed. Sound great. Oh, I didn't tell you, Jim, you're 20. Indeed, indeed. Sound great. Oh, I didn't tell you, Jim, you're 20 over 9. Just a lovely copy. We are running 400 watts. Over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're sounding great. I'm back on my SD. I have a Chevron. That's not a gas promotion. That's a sign on the right-hand side of the screen that shows where we're listening. It lists 6 different items. All the 4 SDRs and 2 receivers, and the receivers are local. And so, by way of information, when I move around, you'll be able to hear it when you listen back to your audio, and you can hear how you're doing in Pennsylvania, and I think I'm on my local receiver some also. But if you come back just a little bit later or more, I can give you some other locations, and I'll just run through them, and you'll have it as you listen back. Roger?
Locations, and I'll just run through them, and you'll have it as you listen back. Roger?
Oh, okay. I don't want to take too much of your time. There may be, but appreciate that, Jim. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Well, I run through all the 4 SDRs. I went to Virginia, Georgia, Pennsylvania, New York, and up into my local receiver there just from what I'm in that local receiver now. So anyway, Terry, I think we've got it, sir. You're sounding good. I hope you enjoy your recording. I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search, KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. This will be cut number 1 in a series of 2500. And again, I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
I got it. I'm going to have to send you, some coupons for coffee or pizza or something, Jim. Really appreciate it. Back to you.
Yes, sir, Terry. I can use that sometimes. They were about 2 o'clock in the morning. I've been doing some testing. I have these 3 10-foot vertical magnetic loops, and I've been experimenting with canceling local noise with one. Right now I have them deployed as one at 0 degrees, one at 90 degrees, and one at 134 degrees, kind of splicing up the directionality and running them as a scanner. But recently I've been playing with this one at canceling noise, local noise, and I'm getting about 7 dB noise cancellation from it to the other 2. And so the directionality of it might not be absolutely correct, but there is the positive aspect of getting rid of 6 to 7 dB of local noise just by its orientation. Roger?
7 dB of local noise just by its orientation. Roger?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. About 20 years ago, I made up I think it was about a 14-foot square. I don't know how many loops of wire, maybe 20 loops of wire. Very simple square antenna. 160 meters, and it worked like a champ. You could null out the local noise very easily. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Now, these are magnetic loops. They're not just regular loops, they're magnetic loops. They do have the property of directionality to some degree, but there's another thing. The larger the loop is related to the frequency that it's operating on, the less directionality it seems to have as far as, out into the universe. But in a local situation, it is, directional vary because this noise is, I've got a electronic rotor that reads off in 360 degrees, and I go 10 degrees one way or the other from this null, and that I'm back into that heavy noise. So it does show some directionality on the local level, but on the global level, it doesn't seem to be that directional. Now, I don't know how that can possibly be, but one of those things I'm still experimenting and trying to learn. Roger, Roger.
Those things I'm still experimenting and trying to learn. Roger, Roger.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you come up with a solution, let me know. Okay. Jim, have a wonderful weekend, and thank you again. I've always wanted an intermediate radio to offer solutions. I've got a Kenwood TS-870 that really works well, and that's the next step up from that. An old TS-930 and a TS-940. Still keep those radios active too, but it's been a great help, Jim. Over.
Roger, Roger, Terry. And the other thing, too, if you run very many radios, different radios, sometimes it's a neat idea to have a piece of outboard equipment that gives you EQ compression and audio level. And then you can, depending on the radio that you're running, you can make adjustments and allowances for its deficiencies, automatically, because it's an outboard piece of gear that is the same all the time. The radio may change, and you can make adjustments to the transmit audio through this black box. Roger, Roger?
To the transmit audio through this black box. Roger, Roger?
Oh, yes, good idea. I'll start exploring that, Jim, but that's an excellent thought. Have a good weekend, Jim. Thanks again.
Roger, Roger, Terry, 73, sir, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. Love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
So, Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.